Welcome to the Sonic Collective, a music podcast that explores a different album or musical concept each month, diving deep into its history, context, and impact on the music industry. Join our hosts, Alain, Scott, and Darren Scott, that's way too many Scotts, as they share their thoughts, insights, and personal connections to the music, inviting you, the listener, to discover new perspectives and appreciation for some of the greatest albums and music of all time.
Hey you! Thanks so much for tuning into the Sonic Collective. This is Alain. It's August 2024, and we are on our third episode of our 4-part series exploring albums that sound like they were influenced by other albums. Or perhaps more broadly, bands that sound like they were influenced by other bands, where we choose an album from each band that demonstrates these similarities. Now, if you haven't already seen the title to this episode, I have suggested the Deftones as being influential on the band Sleep Token, and I've chosen their respective albums, White Pony and Sundowning, as music to listen to this month to make my case. As usual, we will reconvene at the end of the month and discuss our thoughts on these albums and make our arguments for whether or not we could detect the influences. Alright, on to my selections. The Deftones are an American rock band formed in 1988, renowned for their experimental sound that blends alternative metal, shoegaze, and post-hardcore. Their critically acclaimed album, White Pony, released in 2000, marked a pivotal shift in their music, showcasing a more atmospheric and introspective approach compared to their earlier works. The album features a unique mix of heavy riffs and ethereal melodies, haunting lyrics. It's a very resonant album. Notable tracks include Change in the House of Flies and Digital Bath, both of which highlight the band's ability to balance aggression with vulnerability and solidifying White Pony as a seminal release in the heavy music scene, and one that I happened to have on heavy rotation when I was in high school. Sleep Token is a genre-defying band that has captivated people with their unique blend of metal, R&B, and atmospheric soundscapes ever since they burst onto the music scene in 2016. Now, I'm going to break a cardinal rule here at the Sonic Collective. You see, we try not to review any album that has been released within the last 5 years. And Sleep Token's debut album, Sundowning, was released in November of 2019. So it's pretty close to 5 years ago as of this recording. Sundowning showcases the band's mysterious persona and thematic exploration of love and loss, framed within the context of worship to a deity known as sleep. Yeah, they're kind of weird. Similar to bands like Slipknot, Sleep Token really leans into their shtick, donning masks on stage and keeping their anonymity a high priority. By design, knowledge of the band members' names and faces is a closely guarded secret. But don't let their weird visual appearance cloud your judgment before you hear them. This album features haunting melodies, powerful lyrics, and dynamic instrumentation, including god-tier drumming, all of which that make for just a really interesting and immersive listening experience that's full of emotional depth and sonic versatility. So listen along with us this month and tune back in at the end of August to see what Darren, Scott, that's way too many Scotts, and I thought of these albums, and whether anyone else agrees with me that the influence of the Deftones can be heard on Sleep Token. And as always, be sure to share your thoughts with us about your own listen through. Until then, this is Alain signing off for the Sonic Collective. You can find us on all the usual social media channels like Facebook and Twitter, X. And of course, you can always leave a comment on thesoniccollective.com. Ciao.
Hey, thanks for joining us on the Sonic Collective, where we've explored the music, the history, and the impact of some of the greatest albums of all time. We hope you've enjoyed our discussions and gained new insights and appreciation for the music you and we love. Join us next month for another exciting album, and until then, keep listening to great music.